In honor of Jen Ziner and myself at Progress Coaching, when we talk about being a coach on and off the field, there's so many similarities between the two. And Jen, who's a certified progress coach, is a soccer coach and coaches the youth. And it's one of the reasons that she and I have connected so well. And I've coached boys volleyball on and off for the past 30 years. And recently, with everything going on, I was going through some press clippings of the program I started here at our local high school. And a friend and I started this program, and we only started it 6 years ago. And I'll never forget this. I thought, boy, this is my opportunity to do it again. It's the second program I've started, and it really gave me an opportunity to do something very unique. Take what I teach and apply it to the youth again. And so we as coaches have to realize, we as leaders have to realize, we as parents have to realize, there's some synergy between the two. Let me share with you something that I think you'll find very interesting. Jen told the story of a team that she had that wasn't doing well during the season, but they ended up winning the league championship because she believed in them. She was positive. She was influential. She kept telling them, regardless of what outside forces were saying, we're going to win. We're going to get there. And that's what a coach does. A coach can turn on his or her blinders to do what? Not listen to the noise. And when I was watching her video, it got me thinking of a team that I had. Not my high school team, but a team that literally had only 8 kids on it. We were not that talented. We were 0-7. We were in Chicago at a club tournament, huge tournament, and the kids were playing really awful. And I know it's a part of the process. They just weren't playing well. I had one kid with a bloody nose. I had another kid who was getting sick, who had a stomach bug. We were down to 6 kids. One more kid who gets injured. We literally couldn't field the team. And I remember the kid who got sick was really struggling. So I sat down with him and I said, how you feeling? And he said, not good, coach. And I said, look, don't play. He said, coach, I want to play. And I said, look, I'm going to sub you in and out. And I know you're one of the better players, but I just want you to realize this is not that important. It's not the end of the world. And he started to plow through. And he started to play better. And he started to feel better. And I remember looking at this kid, an amazing kid. And I said, Charlie, you're becoming a great leader. Now, at the time, Charlie was ultra competitive. So kids looked to him on the court to do some really special things. But he was really competitive to the point that sometimes he gave the perception he wasn't a great teammate. He was the ultimate teammate. He'd go through a wall for his teammates. And I remember during a break between matches, I said, Charlie, I need you to become the greatest leader. He said, what are you talking about? I said, I want you to only be positive with your teammates. We were 0-7. I heard a parent say, oh my gosh, we've got to be the worst team at this tournament. There's over 1,000 teams. That's a pretty bold statement. And I said, we're going to start winning. He said, what? I go, we're going to start winning. So the next match, we win our first match, which was like winning the NCAA tournament. The second match we win. The third match we win. The fourth match we win. We end up winning the bronze division, the lowest division, albeit. But we go on a 4-0 tear. We never, ever took less than third from that point forward. We ended up winning the tournament at the end of the year, which is our Wisconsin Badger Region Championships. And we ended up doing that. And some of those kids I still keep in touch with. It's probably been 4 or 5 years. And I go back to those moments. And I go back to one fundamental thing. The number one thing that kids do not like about youth sports is the drive home with the parents. And it's in a study by the American or the Coaching Positive Coaching Alliance. And what they show is that what we tend to do as parents is go into corrective action mode. You should have done this. You got to practice more. Really what kids want to do is they want to have fun, they want to be with their friends, and they want to win. There's a 50% equation on the winning. There's a winner and there's a loser. There's only a 50% chance that's going to occur. So if we can focus on the experience and having them get better and focus on the good things that they're doing, don't we need to do that in the corporate world? How do I know that? Every time I do public speaking, I will ask people, what happens when an employee gets called into the boss's office? What's his or her first response or thought? Do you know I've never in 23 years had anyone say, oh, they think their promotion's ready. It's usually, uh-oh, what did I do wrong? That's the typical response. Why? Because we've cultivated that. So when you're coaching people on the field, there is a lot of transference to the field, which is the corporate workplace. So think about calling people into your office for the good stuff. Think about praising your player. So something I do every year with my club teams is I write them at Christmas a handwritten note of why I'm proud of them. And I give one specific thing I'm really proud of. And I do that for a couple reasons. One, the parents love it. Two, the kids know that I'm busting my butt to help them. At the age of 56, I still don't lack energy for coaching. But I want every kid to know one thing they're doing well. So this past year, talking about being a coach on and off the field, I had a kid who, in tryouts, was literally ducking and jumping out of the way of balls that were being hit at him, which really kind of defies the purpose of playing volleyball. And I looked at him, and I remember after our first match, he was terrified. I said, "You're going to get there. I promise you by the end of the year, you're going to be a really good player." And I know the kid didn't believe me, and I just kept communicating that. I had a high school senior coaching with me, great kid who plays at our high school program. He kept doing the same thing. By the end of the year, this kid was diving, digging balls, serving the ball in, really good serves. Start of the year, he couldn't get the ball to the front part of the court, not the net. Oh my gosh, the net was a couple weeks away. So when we're positive and we let kids know and we let our employees know that we have their back and we're invested in their strengths and we're going to go along for the ride and we'll do whatever we can, it builds trust, it builds transparency, but it also builds something called effort. Where there's effort, there will be progress. Where there's progress, we will start to have more predictable, sustainable results.